What was your question? How many episodes of the podcast have we done?
How many episodes have we done?
Dude, I don't know. I've at least 300, more than that.
Of 300 episodes, I have not done a single one with pants. So I think you just found out, but
Jesus
yeah,
Christ. Okay.
yeah, not a single one.
I've done
Like
several with
literally none of
pants,
them.
mostly with shorts, but some with pants.
Well,
Almost always in a tank top.
yeah, I mean
I am
you
a
are you are a fan of the tank top, yeah.
I am a fan of being comfortable.
Yeah. Um
Jesus Christ. Um, what was I gonna say? Uh,
yeah.
shit, man. We Hank Green. Did he write The Fault in Our Stars?
John Green.
John Green. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He did.
Hank is his brother, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Why?
Yeah, I was
Why?
like, there's some overlapping tendencies in this.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about them. Which, by the way, before we start, I just want to show you this is my copy of Turtles All the Way Down. It is a first edition copy because I pre-ordered it before it came out, and yes, it is signed.
I was gonna say it's
And
autographed. Hey.
yeah, it is autographed. So this is my copy, which I read. I literally got it a month before I graduated college, and I spent a good chunk of post graduation just doing a lot of laundry, applying to jobs, and reading this book. So when I think of this book, I think I have a vivid memory of reading it in like a separate laundry station.
Uh-huh.
Like in the apartments where I was living had like a little like garage almost that was full of of
I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I used to go there and I would wait and I would be reading this a while I was waiting. And I remember it was hot and it was made me go through a lot of feelings because that's all I had at that moment. I didn't have a job, I didn't have school, I only had this. And so I have yeah, it's etching to my memory. And this is my way of making you feel bad for criticizing the movie a little later. So how about we just jump right into it, you know?
Cool. Okay, wait. Before we jump right into it, I want to say this, folks. My integrity will stand. Chema's emotions will not sway what few criticisms I have of this film.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, God damn it. Chema, hit the
Sure.
fucking intro.
Thank you for welcoming us into your headphones. My name is Chema,
And I'm Eddie.
reviewing Turtles all the way down, and this is the rollback. You are not your thoughts. Asa Holmes confronts her potential for love, happiness, friendship, and hope while navigating an endless barrage of invasive, obsessive thoughts. Turtles all the way down, the movie directed by Hannah Marks, based on the best-selling novel by John Green, starring Isabella Merced, Cree, Judy Reyes, Felix Mallard, Malik Johnson, and other colorful characters. Tells the story of Asa Holmes, which is so this movie is a coming of age story. It is a story about a girl that is has a condition of OCD, and it is about a very specific kind of OCD, which is a germaphobe. And it is, from what I understand, John wrote this. I like that I call him John as if we were friends. Yeah, John Green like wrote this based on his experiences with OCD. He wanted to write a story about characters that were feeling that way, but they weren't over romanticized like they tend to be in other media. So he wanted that. And a movie was announced. It was announced actually a long time ago, and it was finished a long time ago, and they just couldn't decide if they were going to release it. And it ended up coming out on Max, which I think is a good decision. This is definitely a streaming movie. It's definitely a movie that feels smaller, but it's got a 2 hour runtime. It is a longish movie, and it is a coming of age, which I am kind of open to already liking that, and it's based on a John Green story, which I love. I love John Green. Like he was whatever the book equivalent of soundtrack of my teenage years. That was him. So Of course, I was going to be hyped about this, and I like this cast. I like Isabella Merced. I like Chrissy Chino. I like Julie Reyes. Um, so it was honestly, this was just very accessible. Really glad that it's on it's on Max. Um, I had a good experience watching it. I had fun with it. It was cool to run back through everything that happened in the book, and I like the end result. I don't think it's a perfect movie. I don't think it's an incredible movie, but it is definitely it's definitely a thing that I'm glad exists more than I'm glad that it doesn't. So that's my initial thoughts. What did you think about Turtles on the Way Down? Did you know about this, or did I just put you on it?
You put me on it. So I'll say this: I was worried it was going to be a kissing booth situation
Not
where,
at all.
yeah, I know I was completely wrong in that part. So there's some props, it's better than kissing booth. It wasn't one of those like teenage angst films for the sake of being teenage angst film. I did appreciate it. I think this is one of those films that will hit certain people, certainly. It just didn't hit for me. But that's not to say it's a bad film. I'm not going to go so far as to say, oh, this movie sucks, or oh, God, the messaging, or oh, they act. No, 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 no. This is one of the situations where I can identify a film and being like, it's not bad. It's just, it's not for me. I would say maybe everyone can find something in this film that's somewhat relatable. Just maybe me less so, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't find Asa very relatable. But here's the thing, it's ah I don't want to discredit the movie that only people that deal with OCD can find it relatable. I do have OCD to some degree. I have to eat M&Ms in color order in size. I have to eat my pizza in order of size and then pepperoni number if they're the same size. I have very minor OCD, so I can understand her to some degree. I don't have the germophobia part of it, but I just I couldn't find myself really relating to the characters. And I think that's what was causing an issue for me. I found myself very disinterested, not with the whole story, but mostly with the love aspects of it. The
Okay.
friendship to me was the best part of the film because I liked how as Asa and Daisy, their relationship, and to be frank, their one-sidedness of their friendship, to me, that was the glue of this film, was their conflict because very early on, when Asa tells Daisy, "Hey, no non-clear liquids in the car," you know that. I was immediately like, "Oh, she's a taker." And I'm not trying to say like, "Oh, everyone with a certain with certain like OCD or whatnot are takers." I'm not trying to discredit them. It's just, oh, those are the dynamics of the friendship. Very clearly, Asa's the one that like takes more from Daisy, if that makes sense. Because they have that big fight later on in the film, which I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll get to. But yeah,
Yeah.
just immediate
Definitely
thoughts,
the catharsis of the movie is that fight scene. Yeah.
definitely by a mile, which is why I think I found like the whole romance part of this film like such an afterthought. I think if they had genuinely just cut out Davis altogether, and
Mhm.
I understand, like, he does play some part of it. But I feel like if this had centered more around Asa and Daisy and their friendship evolving and leaving each other and being close friends and everything, I feel like if it had been more focused on that, maybe I would have enjoyed it more. But then again, you need the relationship conflict with Davis in order for that fight to happen. So I don't know, man, it's a vicious circle.
There's a lot here. I don't think the marketing of this movie was particularly fantastic. The trailer focused a lot on the romance and like a little on the OCD part. The posters feature only Asa and Daisy. So the posters were about the friendship. The trailer was about the romance, and never in this marketing material did they mention anything about the mystery or about the reward or about like the dad or
It's just
anything.
such like teenage bullshit. Like, maybe we can find the guy and get the claim that like that's some like high
No,
school
but here's the
dumbass
thing.
stuff.
Here's the thing: the
It's
mystery was a big part of the book.
weird.
Like it was, yeah.
So
Like
they
the
cut that
mystery was a
out?
big part. It's not clipped out. It's just it's definitely decreased. Like there's a lot less of it. Like Asa is called Asa Holmes. Like the whole thing is that she's solving a mystery. So
Oh,
so it's kind of like I don't know. I felt like those parts were missing from the book. It does have the same ending, I guess, with like them finding like the jacket and like getting to the conclusion that the body is like somewhere in there. Um, but I don't know. I did miss a little bit of that. I do like the performances. You did mention Isabella Merced, who I feel like I've seen her in so many things now. Like ever since Transformers and Instant Family and the Dora the Explorer movie and she was in Let It Snow, which is another John Green adaptation, and she was just in Madam Web, and she's gonna be in Superman. Like she's but
oh, she's a hot girl.
yeah, she's gonna be Hawk Girl, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Um
know that. Oh
yeah,
no.
like
Oh, she was in Madam Web.
yeah,
Oh, you poor girl. No.
it's fine. She's gonna be in Superman. I think she'll be okay.
Oh God.
Um
Hope Alien Romulus is better.
So like I like her. I think she was a good choice for this character, and you can tell that she got really into the headspace, and she sells it. Like she really sells like someone who with that obsessive compulsive condition. Chrissy Chino, I loved this little show on Netflix called Mr. Iglesias, and she
Oh,
was yeah, and she was like the main girl, like the only one that was smart in the whole class. So like I really like her because of that. She was really funny in that. So I like this too. Like there's a good, and apparently they've been friends in real life for like a long time. So like they have the chemistry. Like
oh,
you
that
believe it.
explains it. Yeah, they clicked really well really early.
Yeah, like really, like ever since like you saw them like in the car, like bumping out the outcast, like they're you can tell like they've done this, you know. So they're good. Judy Reyes plays Ace's mom. She was in Scrubs, just one of the main characters in Scrubs. So of
She's
course I
also
like
from
her
Smile.
already. What's up?
She's also from Smile.
She was in Smile. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she was the
Yeah.
woman that they go look for. Yeah,
For some reason, that's the only movie project that I remember her from.
yeah. I don't think
That's
she's
it.
been in a
Literally.
lot of stuff. Did you saw there's gonna be a Smile too?
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's going to be any good, but yeah.
Have you heard the plot synopsis?
No. Ooh, what is it?
It's about this girl who's a singer and she gets like the demon and she's gonna smile at like in like a tour to like a ton of people to kill them all.
Oh shit, she's going to become a virus almost.
Yeah.
I am intrigued, actually.
Yeah. And it's gonna be the girl from the Aladdin live action remake.
Oh, I'll show you the world, all right. But
Yeah, but that's Smile too. Felix Mallard, who plays Davis, is the only one that I didn't recognize for anything. I don't know him. I just know he's Australian. I I I, I wouldn't know.
generic, generic teenage dreamboat number four.
So here's the thing. The thing about Davis and that I liked in the book and that I like here is that he has some goddamn self-respect. Like that's what I like about Davis. Like um what? How? That
Oh,
scene at the end where they're in the table and she goes like, "What if we like just text instead of doing anything else?" Like he goes like, "I need to be liked up close," and she's like, uh, he's like, "Well."
I mean, he pulled the biggest Chad move I've ever seen. He gave her 100 grand in cash. It was like, all right, now you'll like me only for me.
Yeah,
I'm
when have you
sorry.
seen that before? When have you seen that before?
I never have, but that feels like
Yeah,
a very Chad move of like,
yeah.
here's the money. Now do you love me for me? To which, girl, take the money and run.
It's kind of funny because like in the book, like he gives her the money and he's like just kind of like being like, "Take it and please leave us alone. Like please, like
Yeah,
don't."
I would have taken that. That would have been cool. Like, all right, I don't want to see you again. Like, please. And then she reaches out and she's like, hey, I like you more for you. And he's like, All right, let's find out then.
Yeah. So there's that. Um, there's a lot of John Greenisms in this, in a good way. Like the big one, of course, is that the couple doesn't get together, which is a staple in all of John Green's works.
Hey man,
Uh,
you got some shit you need to resolve? We can talk about it.
no, it's just like a recurring theme. Like looking for Alaska, they don't end up together. Paper Towns, they don't end up together. Fault in Our Stars, they obviously don't end up together.
Not trying to cast stones, but is he happily married?
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right, that
yeah,
explains it.
yeah. So there's that. The only books that he wrote where the couple does end up together is An Abundance of Catherines and Will Grayson, Will Grayson, and that's it. So yeah,
Huh.
something there. I do like that in this one they don't. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love the whole like, oh, like imagine you end up getting married and like you end up like, yeah. I mean, the speech is fine, but like the visions to me felt like a little
At the end?
too much. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not gonna like this. That's actually my second favorite part of the film
Really?
because, and okay,
I like the speech. I don't
yeah,
love the images, you know? Like if it had been just a conversation between the two of them, I
yeah.
would have really liked it, yeah.
I feel like, and I need to put a massive disclaimer, and this is the last time I'm going to say it for the rest of the review. So, folks, here's the disclaimer. All right, and from this point forward, if I say anything that's can be sought at as offensive or triggering or pessimistic,
Oh my God.
I'm not trying to be. It's just from my limited 30 years of experience on this planet, this is what's taught me. So I'm not targeting anyone. I'm not trying to be an asshole. Just saying it. I love that because it is very realistic. I liked the visuals because it's true. Maybe you fall in love and you get your heart broken. Maybe you have kids and your marriage doesn't work out. Maybe you begin to relapse and you go back to your old ways, and then you climb and you get a better job and you go get your education and you do this. You're gonna experience highs and lows in life. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that everything's gonna be great from this point forward. It's not. But it's worth you knowing that as we go through this, you're always going to have me. I like that. I like the honesty because you and me both know that that's true. You get your ass kicked, and frequently you're going to get your ass kicked. So the fact that she tells her that and says, like, this stuff will spike, it will eventually. And that's okay because we're going to deal with it together as a team, as best friends. I like that. It's 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 absence um of being naive. Like she's not naive. She's so mature that she recognizes that. The friend Daisy. So I like.
What about what you said was cancelable? Like you didn't say anything bad.
I don't want it to be perceived as like, oh, people with OCD will relapse. I don't want it to be perceived like that. I'm saying anyone with any issue will more than likely relapse and face those issues. If the issue is something where you need to get therapy, chances are you're gonna have it like lifelong. It's not a
Yeah.
cure-all, it's a management thing.
Yeah.
It's
If
like
anything, I really like that the movie has those scenes where the therapist where she's like, you have to go back to your meds. And she's like, but they don't work. It's like they haven't worked yet
yeah.
because
It's
you don't take them. Like,
it's a
yeah.
mental health thing that is necessary. Also, folks, and I'm not a doctor, but again, from my limited knowledge of medications, it's like trying on a dress. Just because the first one it doesn't look right does not mean the second and third and fourth one are going to suck. You have to keep trying them until you find the one that works. Heart
Yeah.
medication, anxiety medication, meds for anything. I guarantee you, you're not going to get it right the first time. Keep trying different ones, try different combinations while speaking to your doctor, obviously, and hopefully, you feel better in the long run.
Yeah. And like I said, I like that the movie normalizes that and makes it feel, hopefully makes the people that feel this way seen. Because I know that that was John's mission from the very start. Like he didn't set out to romanticize the fuck out of this. He
Hmm.
was like, I have lived through this. These are my experiences. Like I want to chat to like cast it into a piece of work. And I like that the movie like addresses that. Like there's a scene where they're getting off the canoe and Daisy says like, "Hey, like Asa, like, do you know where the tree is?" And she goes like, "No, of course not. It's a fucking tree. Like, how will I know?" And she goes like, "Oh, why can't you have that like OCD? Will it makes you super smart?" And it's like, don't. That's so fucking rare, and I hate that a lot of media is like, oh, having autism is like having superpowers, and it's like you're doing like so much. You're This is what the gay community calls bad for the team, and it is. It's just a bad idea overall to over romanticize that. And John has made a career about breaking down certain over romanticization of things.
Mhm.
Like he did that with the Manic Pixie Dream Girl when he wrote Looking for Alaska and Paper Towns to an extent. He did the same thing with cancer when he did Fault in Our Stars, and now he's
Oh,
doing
I
that
fucking
with
love Fault in
OCD.
Our Stars.
Because it was so fucking good. Like both the movie and the book are so good, and because they don't treat it, they are very honest about this. But a lot of people don't know that because they didn't even fucking watch it or read it. So that is a big problem. This movie, I think, will reach the right audience because it is on streaming.
Mhm.
I think they're not doing a big push. Like it kind of got dropped on Max, but when I opened Max, I had to like look up for it like by name.
Same.
Which like no, like you just dropped the movie. Why is it not at the very front? Like what? Yeah, I'm surprised they wouldn't because I'm surprised Warner wouldn't push more forward it. I mean, it's literally edited exactly like Oppenheimer. Did you notice that? Like in the same way that Oppenheimer would cut
Oh,
to
I
shots of
did
the
not
bomb,
see that.
this would cut to like the bacteria.
I did not catch that actually. Holy shit.
Yeah. Like
I
after.
appreciate those visualizations though. They were able to convey germophobia visually very well. I'll give them that.
Mhm,
I'll give
mhm.
that. Also, her last name is Holmes. She should have like the OC, the superpower OCD, actually, now that I think about it. I'm kidding. I'm
No.
kidding. I am kidding. I'm kidding. But I wonder how it feels to have peaked with Fault in Our Stars.
What?
I wonder how it feels to have peaked with the Fault in Our Stars.
He did not peak with The Fault in Our Stars. You are God. You have no. You haven't even seen or consumed his other pieces of work. Like,
He only has two other ones.
what do you mean he has two other ones?
I'm looking at the books. As Fault in Our Stars, 5 years later, Turtles All the Way, 4 years later, Essays on Human-Centered Planet.
Yeah, the Anthropocene reviewed. Yeah.
Are you telling me that that's better than Fault in Our Stars?
I don't. I mean, my favorite John book is Looking for Alaska, which is his first book. All the others are good as well, but
Also,
Barry's son.
you mentioned that he takes the piss out of the whole Pixie Dream Girl shit.
Yeah,
I have a question for you then.
yeah.
Do you think so? I'm gonna assume in Paper Towns he finds her, or was it Looking for Alaska? He finds her, and then it's just like, dude, it was 1 week. Like, what are you thinking? Like, she kind of takes the piss out of it, right?
That is the catharsis in Paper Towns. Yeah, like which is something that I didn't like in the movie because like in the book, like she disappears, she leaves clues, and then they find her, and he goes like, "Hey, I found you. What's up?" And she goes like, "I left clues so that you know that I was alive." Like like a few of them were for my sister to find, not for like what? And he goes like, but I looked for you, I found you, and he goes like, and what? Like, what do you expect? Like, shall we fuck now? Like, that's yeah. Like she goes for the gut in that one, and in the movie she just goes like, "Oh well, I left clues and whatever. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're fine."
No
It,
one finds you like Gaston. No one to text like Gaston. No one.
yeah. So that's why I think that message is way better in the book than it is in the movie. And Looking for Alaska, which became a show on Hulu, it became like a 6 or 8 episode show. Looking for Alaska is like extremely special to me. Like I know you because of Looking for Alaska in a weird way. I read that book, and it's about a young guy who is going to school in like with in the same house. Like he lives with his parents and he wants to know, like, discover more of the world out there, and he feels a little like caged in his house. So he applies to this boarding school and he goes away, and that's because he wants to know adventure and make friends and be in a completely different environment. And I read that and I thought, like, man, like this is like I want that. And I applied to the university that we went to, and that's where I met a lot of people who are very important to me now. So my whole adventure in college was extremely, like, hauntingly similar to Miles's adventure in Looking for Alaska. Um, to the point where, like, when I watched the show when it came out, I was already back here, and like it ended up like repeating something that happened in my real life without planning that wasn't in the book. And I was like, this is meant to be. Like, this is like just like stupidly, like, if you watch the show, like that's Chema, like right there. Like that's his that's when he got to the US like all lost and lonely and made friends, and then he went through a bunch of stuff. And yeah,
So
what are you looking for?
no, I was just gonna look up Paper Towns TV show. It is on
Oh
Netflix.
no, it's Looking for Alaska.
Oh,
Yeah.
Paper
Paper Towns
Towns.
was turned into a movie.
Looking for Alaska.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mini drama, drama mini series. Oh, it
Yeah.
was his first book. Good for him. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. I will do my best to watch it.
All right. I did a review of it like years ago, and it's one of my few solo reviews on this channel.
You need to do
Um,
more solo reviews, Shema.
yeah, I know. I know. This should have been a solo review, honest. And
I, I did technically do a video review. I will delete it and you can have it.
no, 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 no. It's fine. You already did it. I'm not gonna cut you out of it. But you can like put me on like the cover with like just doing this. So like
Were you expecting someone else?
explain to someone you can finally use that because where the fuck did that ended up? Like
What, do you have it or is it on my phone?
I think I sent it to you. Yeah.
Shit, I can't find
Um
it again. Okay.
Anyway, back to anyway, yeah, Looking for Alaska. That was very important to me. Still is. I feel like watching it now, you're gonna be like, oh god, these fucking teenagers, they're so snarky, they're
I,
so indie. And it's like, yes, we were. That's the best part.
okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. I found Asa very annoying. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Really?
Not so much in the sense of like not annoying as in like turn it off, she sucks, I hate her. Not like that. But annoying as in she's a teenager that I'm trying to be mean when I say this, like needs a very, very stern talking to. Cause when she goes off on her mom and she's like, well, you don't think I can go? If I was her mom, I understand she's a mother, she's a good mother. Maybe I won't have the balls to do this to my kid, but I would have yelled at her. When the fuck have you ever shown me that you have what it takes to go out there in the real world? You can't even let your fucking finger heal. What makes me think that you can go out there and live by yourself? Seriously, when? I'm sorry, that's mean.
Okay,
Also, kind of true.
this is the first one where I'm like, yeah, you should cut that one.
Oh, dude, but and I understand. It's just
This is a story about empathy, man.
but
It's a
she
story
needs to
about having
practice it. You're right. It is. Where is Ace's empathy when it comes to Daisy? Daisy slaps her with a question. I slapped my old boss with a similar question. My old boss is like, "Oh, we're a family here." I took out a 20 from my wallet, put it on his desk, and said, "What's my wife's name?" He just didn't look at me. He just looked away and like looked down, and I put the money back in my pocket. That's what I thought.
bro, this movie, like I was watching this movie and I was like about to like pause it and text you like, hey, what are your parents' names? Like I was like, I was like, I think I know
We
what
have
your
a
dad
better
does.
friendship than having to know each other's parents' names, though.
Do
We check up
we?
on each other. I would say we have a better friendship than this. It's not one-sided where one of us leeches. We're giving on both ends. So it's
I
like,
would not say that Asa is a leech. Like that, that is not.
okay,
She does. She does have a lot to learn.
maybe
Yes,
you're right. She's
but
not a
a lot of being a teenager is making mistakes and learning from them. I feel like people forget that. Like they see teenagers like making mistakes and they don't think, oh, that well, they have to learn somehow. They immediately think they're doing it wrong and I have to tell them how. Well, guess what? Nobody learns that way. You learn by fucking up.
but
And
Daisy is immediately doing the right thing easily. Like Daisy is, for all intents and purposes, somewhat the protagonist of this story to me. Like she has empathy. She comes from a harder life. Like she calls out Asa and says, "I get it. You went through something bad, and that's fair. But just because you experience a tragedy does not mean the rest of us don't have it hard also."
yeah.
Like
And she's gonna learn from that. Like the movie ends with her learning that. Like, did you forget that part?
you should
Or
have
did you
learned
just
it before
stop
the
the
movie started, or
did
at
you
least
stop the movie at the
done.
crash car scene? Like,
Huh? Yeah, maybe,
did
maybe. And
you?
then the
Did
movie
you
was very
start watching
funny.
it at 125 speed? Like, did you?
Fuck you and your 125 speed.
I don't do it to 125 speed.
I should have watched this at 2.0 speed. That way I would have suffered less.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This movie's not a bad film. I just recognize that maybe I can spot a bad film. I will tell you when I see a bad movie. This movie, it's not bad. It's not one of those. It's just a film that
I doubt it. You
kind
put
of
you put Aquaman in your top 10 of the year that year, so I don't
yeah.
know.
Oh, fuck you. That was 4 years ago. No, 5 years ago. Fuck off. It broke $1 billion.
Yeah, so did the Twilight movies. Like, what the?
Did they break 1 billion?
Yeah,
Fuck, I contributed to that, unfortunately.
yeah, we all did
Ugh.
in a way. Um, Look, this movie's not gonna like doesn't box office doesn't matter to this movie. Like, honestly, it was a streaming movie. It did pretty good on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it got like 90 something, or like it's
About
standing at like a full
96.
90. Yeah, 96. Um, it's very simple. Like, it's very basic. My only quote unquote problem, and I've had this problem with all of John's adaptations, to which, how do I say this? John's books are very like they're marketed to teenagers because like that's well young adults like the genre is young adult. My big problem with all the adaptations is that they have the dialogue and the story and the setup and the characters of like an indie-ish film that would translate very well with like a personal touch or like a unique vision for that. And all of the adaptations, for some reason, were done by very big studios, like Fox, which was a big one that did both fucking Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, and then Hulu doing Looking for Alaska, and then now Max doing this. Um, they feel glossy, like they
Yeah.
feel pop. They feel like it has like a bigger budget than it should have, and because of that, there's a they're not meeting in the middle. Like they feel like big budget movies cosplaying as indie movies.
I
And I
see.
feel like they should be a little bit more indie-ish. Like they should be lower dynamics. It should be like less than that because it makes the dialogue not flow as well. And John Green dialogue is fucking fantastic. Like this is a man that can have you crying on one page and crying laughing at the other. So I think a little bit of that is lost in the adaptation. I think Looking for Alaska is the one that comes closest to the book, but even then, I have some problems with that. I have one big problem with the Looking for Alaska adaptation, but
Mhm.
I'll tell you. I'll explain if you end up watching it. Um, I don't know. A big one here is just something about this movie just feels a little glossy to me, and I feel like it should have been a little dirtier. Like for example, it has some ideas that don't end up coming back. Like when the movie starts and she starts having like a little moment where she's kind of going crazy on like the germs, and Billie Eilish's "Bad Guy" starts playing in the background. Not the lyrics, just the music, just the little bass line. And it's kind of wonderful because it's like, oh, like maybe they're gonna use this song like every time, like it's gonna be like a little
Trigger.
like segue, yeah, like a little trigger, like it's gonna be good. It's gonna be used as a leitmotif, which is the little piece of music in musical theater that comes back. And I thought that's great, let's do that. But they just did it in the opening and they just
Yeah.
didn't do it again. And it's like, why? Why didn't you do it again? Like this was a good idea. Like it should have been like I think it got repeated more. Um I don't know, man. Like that bothered me a little bit. But it's a cool idea. It's a new director, Hannah Marks. She was an actress. She's now a director. She's in the movie. She plays the waitress. That's always
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I swear to God, you
Uh
better not tip me in quarters again.
yeah. So she's there. John has a cameo in the movie as well. He's the gym teacher.
Oh
There's a
yeah.
scene, very
I
quick scene where
noticed, to be honest.
yeah, it was a very blink and you'll miss it cameo. Um, where like someone throws like a volleyball to like a girl and Asa like
Oh
ducks.
yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Get off your phone.
yeah. So that's John. So it was cool to see him there, especially because we know the story that like he filmed a cameo for the Fault in Our Stars movie and it got cut.
Son of a bitch. Oh, I'd be furious. I am
No,
down for
no,
motherfuckers.
no, it's funny because like they cut his cameo because they said it was extremely distracting because it just distracted everyone else with his terrible acting. That was the
Oh.
quote that the director gave him. And the cameo exists, it's on YouTube. I've seen it. It's very bad. Like I love John, but even he himself will be like, yeah, that was bad. And like I love John, but like
I didn't know I was pulling a Stan Lee. I'm sorry, guys.
yeah, he's a lot better in like the half a second that he's in here. He's a
Mhm.
lot better than in like the Little Fault in Our Stars cameo.
The
Uh,
secret is to not have him say anything at all.
yeah, he could have just been in the background. And you thought of them while you were taking a piss?
I've been wanting to ask you, but also I've been
Yeah,
having to take a piss since 7-Eleven. Funny enough. But I
it's
did
like,
not want to interrupt your train of thought, so I was like, hold it, hold it, hold it. That's why I started doing this.
oh my god.
Um,
Yeah, tell me.
okay. So two questions.
Yeah,
Um, one is John Green's books, are they all like interconnected in any capacity or no?
not really.
No?
You can read them like they're not like a shared universe.
Yeah, I was wondering if
No.
it was a Percy Jackson situation where like they made like, oh hey.
No, with Percy Jackson it makes a lot of sense, but in this one, no. There is mm, nah, they don't. One time someone asked John, because Hank Green is his brother, they're very famously brothers. They've done like a ton of projects and they're helping Sierra Leone in like amazing capacities.
Mhm.
Uh Somebody asked John once, hey, how come you have a brother, but in all of his books, all your protagonists are like only children? And he goes like, that's my way of telling Hank that he doesn't exist in my creative imagination. That's
Uh,
an older brother move.
Jesus Christ. Okay then.
Yeah.
Fuck. Um, Another question.
Yeah.
Why do you think John Green, so you know the old adage, right? What you know?
Yeah, of course.
So why do you think he keeps writing these coming of age stories to some degree? Like he writes very comfortably in that sphere.
Mhm.
That's not to like shit talk him or anything. Like, hey man, it's making you millions. You're feeding your
Yeah.
family. You're doing good charities. Keep it up. But why do you think he continuously revisits that particular spot?
I have two answers for this. I'll go in order. First, once he very famously got asked this question, and he said, "I don't give a shit about adults."
Right?
Second, this is his last young adult novel. Like he will not write another one. Um,
What's his next move?
oh, so he's doing a ton of projects. but right now, like his big thing is eradicating tuberculosis. So that's kind of what he's focused on right now. He released a book a couple of years ago called The Anthropocene Reviewed, which is a collection of essays about different subjects,
Hmm.
which I adored. I thought it was like a super personal, very lovely book that made me just fall in love with being alive again. I adore that. Um, and he said his next book is also going to be nonfiction, probably about tuberculosis as well. So he might go back to fiction at some point, but I don't think he's going to write another uh, young adult coming of age novel. Why did he write them? Because he's fucking good at them. Because he reading his novels gave me it was the first time that I saw smart teenagers.
Hmm.
Like the characters were smart because they were not in like that they were smart in like school wise. They were smart in like they were well read, but they were also kind of badasses. Like Looking for Alaska, like it's about this kid who's obsessed with the dying words of famous people. So all he reads is biographies just to get at the end to find out their last words. He has this obsession. And he goes to this school. He of course meets bullies, but then he makes friends with a group that is on a constant prank war with the bullies. So they're kind of badasses that were always quoting poetry and old novels, and they know a lot about history, and they would talk about philosophy and religion, but they were also like hard drinking and smokers. And like reading that, I was thinking, like, oh my God, you can be both. And like, it's okay. Like, there was a lot present in there. And Looking for Alaska was like my first foray into that. And it was like the big message of Looking for Alaska is imagine people complexly. Like, do not imagine them as like fucking saviors or like holy people because you're doing them a disservice by not seeing them as who they are. You're misimagining them.
Hmm.
And it's about the dangers of that. And a lot of novels and a lot of media that's directed towards children, especially towards teenagers, romanticizes that and is the right the contrast to that. And I like John because he subverts that. He will take a story like Looking for Alaska, and it's like the same thing with 500 Days of Summer, where like you can watch it as a kid and be like, why is she so mean to him? And then you grow up and you're like, oh, he's an asshole. Like, yeah. So that's the thing. It's what attracts you to him? Probably the fact that he at some point wanted to hear that, and now he's saying it to a younger generation. I grew up on this, and it really shaped me. Like a lot of who I am is because of John's books in a weird way. They were incredibly like they formed a big part of me. They shaped how I saw things. And reading his books, the characters read a lot. So I learned a lot about classic books by reading John's novels. And like I said, I wouldn't have met a good core of the most important people in my life if I hadn't read that book.
Hmm.
So I'm biased towards this. This is my DC, okay?
That's fair.
Uh
That's fair.
yeah. And so of course I like this movie. It's not perfect. It's not great. It's not my favorite John adaptation. I would say the book is in my top 3 of his books. I do like it a lot. And if it's gonna be the last, and even he himself said like while he was writing the end of this, and he was having the characters say goodbye to each other, he was saying like, "Oh, it's me saying goodbye to this genre. Like it's me saying goodbye to these characters. Like
Hmm.
it's done."
But he will continue.
Um, yes, of course, he will continue to write. I don't think he's gonna write fiction for a bit.
Mhm.
I know definitely his next book is not fiction. Maybe he'll write fiction again. Maybe he'll write adult characters. We don't know. But for now, like we have this. Yeah, all of his characters are like high schoolers. Because Looking for Alaska, Abundance of Catherines. Well, Abundance of Catherines is like between high school and college. Paper Towns is like up there about to graduate. Fault in Our Stars, yeah, they're high schoolers. Will Grayson, same thing. Let It Snow, same thing. Um, yeah, I mean, I've liked all the John adaptations. There hasn't been one that I didn't like. There hasn't been a John book I didn't like. And this one, I give this 4 out of 5. I think It's very well made. It is very sweet. I think it's funny. It's got some real charming moments, and I think it's going to speak to a specific audience. And I'm glad that it's on streaming. I think this is a good movie to watch streaming. So yeah, I think Turtles to the Way Down is a win.
Fair. From everything, from the few things I've seen of John Green, I think I would love to see him write a book of the in-betweenness of when you graduate college, but you don't yet have an adult job. I
Yeah.
would I would love to see him write something like that. The challenges of like, hey, you're not a fully grown adult yet, but guess what? You got adult responsibilities. Time to pay rent. I think
Yeah.
that's fun.
Which I think would be fun because like he went through a pretty fun stage of that too. Um
Write what you know, man. Write what you know.
yeah. Um so I think that's it's a good way to end it. Turtles All the Way Down is available on Max. And yeah, highly recommend everyone go check it out. If you like it, check out the book. Book is good, very good too. Um, so yeah, I guess that should cover everything. Final thoughts?
Uh, Enjoyable. I would say, fuck. Well, what new is there? It's not a bad film by any means. You people should watch it. I think other people might get more out of it than me. That's not, like I said, I can spot a bad movie. This is not a bad film. Yeah, people should go watch it. Definitely read the book first. The It sounds like a situation where the book is better than the film.
Yeah, but it very often is the case. So yeah,
True. So yeah, folks, read the book, watch the movie, enjoy it, dive into the whole genre. Chema, if you could give anyone, if they were gonna read any single John Green book to start, like to get them hooked, what book would you recommend?
I would definitely recommend Looking for Alaska. Like to me, that's my favorite book. Fault in Our Stars is a perfect way to start too. Like I think it was super accessible, and I think also the movie's good, and I think a lot of people discovered him through that. Like I first tried Looking for Alaska when I was 13, so I got to like follow his career. Like I was there like the hours before Fault in Our Stars came out, and then I got to see like it becoming to a huge cultural phenomenon. It was great. It was like watching a friend succeed. So yeah, I would say Looking for Alaska. Fault in Our Stars is good too. Paper Towns is fantastic. Uh, Let It Snow, I also find it super funny and cute. And Will Grayson is like probably his funniest book. Um,
Can I ask
I
you
don't think
something?
I'm missing. Yeah, go ahead.
Are most of his movies, most of his books sad?
You will suffer, but you will be very happy about it.
Okay.
Yeah, there is like there is like a point in all of his stories where like the story grabs you by the neck and goes like you're gonna cry now.
Like, dude, Fault in Our Stars is the only movie I rarely cry in theaters. Rare.
Okay,
It's rare. Fault in Our Stars made me cry 3 times
okay,
in one film. And I remember one of the scene that first broke me was when there's the scene where they're throwing the eggs. That one made me cry because I'm like happy tears.
yeah.
The one where the guy dies, but the other one, the first one I think that kind of really ripped my heart up was when he was at the corner store and he's just like, I wanted to do something for myself.
Oh, when he drives, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And like, fuck, that tore me apart because I get it.
yeah,
Like, I get it. As a dude who like prides himself on his independence to get that taken away from you, oh man, that hurt. So, god
yeah,
damn, John Green. Um,
yeah.
but great movie. Watch all of his projects, read all of his books, support a man who, from everything I know from Chema, is doing good things in the world.
He's doing fantastic things. Like I gave him money. That money went to help create uh what's the name for the hospital for pregnant women? A birthing center?
Hospital?
I guess I won't. Yeah, yeah. I gave John money. That money went to create a women's hospital in Sierra Leone, and I got some cool socks. And that is as good as a deal as you can get. Okay,
Why
John,
Sierra Leone, if you don't want me asking, like why is he helping them in particular? Just curious. Just
because
curious.
there's no women's hospitals in Sierra Leone.
Hey man, people have fought for less, so good for him. Then good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just in the United Nations talking about tuberculosis. The man's is a fucking saint. I love this guy.
He's a humanitarian. Jesus.
Yeah, like here's the thing. If you go to John Green's Wikipedia page, it is one of the funniest rides you'll ever take because it's like, what? How does one human does so much? Like, what do you mean he's a best-selling author? What do you mean he co-created a YouTube channel where they're teaching people life skills and school stuff, and also he's helping that to create that hospital, and also like he has awards, and also like he's done like all this shit. Like, yeah, like it's fantastic.
Jesus
I
Christ.
think this is a man's work worth supporting. Okay.
He has a very varied life. Good for him though, but very
Yeah.
varied life.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's this week on John Green Talk. This was like my episode to just like babble about a man that I like very deeply admire. So it's kind of really cool that this is like a thing that he just did and like it's now a movie. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad, and
Yeah.
he seems like an all-around good dude. John Green, keep up the good work
Yeah.
from a guy that
All
you
right.
never fucking know.
Oh my God, I hope I meet him one day. I'll just tell him like thank you, and he'll just be like, it's okay. And I'll be like, ah, yeah, that should be it.
And I'll
Anyway,
apologize as we walk by and be like, I'm sorry, he's been waiting for this forever.
I have been waiting for this forever. Anyway, that's it for this week. Next week, what are we doing next week?
Um, what are we doing next week? What comes out this week? I
You
think
want to do Fall Guy?
doesn't Planet Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes come out this week?
Oh, that's right. I have to make that. Yeah, I was gonna do a marathon of those. You want to do that, or do you want to do Fall Guy?
Yeah, let's see. For sure, I'll be able to watch Kingdom. Let me try watching Fall Guy. Did you see it, Fall Guy already?
I did say Fall Guy, yeah.
Oh, so you
Um,
to review it?
I am, yeah.
All right, let's do Fall Guy. Maybe we'll do a double review. We'll see.
Yeah, I really want to do like a little like a marathon because also they just put all the Apes movies on Disney Plus, like all of them,
Oh, Jesus. Even
like
the old
literally
ones?
all of them. Yeah, even the old ones. And I don't think I'm gonna see those, but it's kind of cool that they're there. So yeah. All right. So next week, Fall Guy or Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. We'll see.
Or
Anyway,
maybe
thank you so
both.
much for joining us, or both. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Chema,
I've been Eddie.
and this was the Rollback. Signing off with a reminder to DFTBA. John Green fans will know what I'm talking about. Goodbye, everyone.